Okay, so today's vlog is going to be a little different. Today I'm going to show you why everyone hates lawyers, in the event that you were the one person who actually needed a reminder. Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned YouTuber, and we are entering week 3 of our lockdown in Montreal. It is admittedly a little weird, it's a little hard on the family, but I've got to tell you, in a weird way, it has actually brought us all closer together. 2 of the 3 kids have virtual schooling during the week, which is kind of awesome. We've been doing cooking videos, we've been watching movies, I've been walking Barney so much he won't have to get his nails clipped for another year. But yes, we do at times go a little stir-crazy, as does everybody, including celebrities, as can be evidenced by the fact that this morning, Conor McGregor put out a tweet on Twitter, offering a signed bottle of proper number 12 to the first person who got the riddle right. I only saw the tweet an hour later, but I saw the problem, I did the math, I tweeted out my answer and I said, this is the right answer, but I am probably too late. And wouldn't you know it, and it did in fact make my quarantine Friday, Conor McGregor actually replied to my tweet and said, you're pretty close on the arithmetic, but not quite there. To which I replied, what a shame, because I just finished my last bottle of proper number 12. And then wouldn't you know it, if it didn't make my quarantine Friday, again, Conor McGregor actually hearted my response. But this vlog is not about a Twitter interaction I had with Conor McGregor while we were both on the quarantine lockdown.
Although it is, but not really.
I looked at the breakdown of the math of the allegedly correct answer, and I had one thing to say.
Objection, Your Honor!
But before I get into my objection and confirm why the entire world hates lawyers and hates arguing with lawyers, let's just go through the equation itself. Alright, so here is the problem to be solved. A pair of running shoes plus a pair of running shoes plus a pair of running shoes equals 30. From that, we can gather that each pair of running shoes is worth 10. An angry, cross-eyed, poorly dressed kid plus an angry, cross-eyed, poorly dressed kid plus a pair of running shoes equals 20. And here we can see that the angry, cross-eyed, poorly dressed kid is worth 5 and the running shoes are worth 10. What appears to be a pair of tar cones in newspaper plus a pair of tar cones in newspaper plus a cross-eyed, poorly dressed, angry kid equals 13. And here we know, because the cross-eyed, angry, poorly dressed kid is worth 5, that the tar-filled newspaper cones have to be worth 4 each. Which brings us to the question. A running shoe plus an angry, cross-eyed kid holding the 2 tar cones and wearing a pair of running shoes times 1 tar cone equals question mark. That is the dissection of the question. Now what is the answer? And while I did say at the beginning of this video that I'm going to illustrate why everyone hates lawyers and hates arguing with lawyers, I'm going to at the very least dispel one of the myths of the lawyers, which is that they are all liars. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to show you the correct answer with all of the work shown, but I am not going to take credit for that work because it is not my work. I'm a nice, honest lawyer. So here's a breakdown of the correct answer. Each pair of running shoes is not worth 10. Each running shoe is allegedly worth 5. The tar-filled newspaper snow cones are not worth 4. Each of them are worth 2.
Allegedly.
And getting to the actual question, we have 1 shoe, which is 5, plus the cross-eyed, angry, poorly dressed kid wearing the shoes holding 2 snow cones, which is 5 plus 4 plus 10. Well, you do the multiplication before the addition, so what you add is 5 plus 4 plus 10, which is 19 times 2, which is 38, plus 5, which is 43. And that is allegedly the correct answer. That is not the correct answer. That is bullplop. It is bullplop. I object, I object, I object.
Your Honor, I object!
And why is that, Mr. Reed?
Because it's devastating to my case!
Overruled.
Good call!
The first basis of my objection, who says you can subdivide the shoes into 2? We can all agree that the pair of shoes have a value of 10, but who says that one of the shoes has a value of 5? In the ordinary run of things, I would say that if a pair of shoes has a value of 10, one shoe has a value of 0.
What the heck am I gonna do with 1 shoe?
1 shoe is utterly useless. It's not worth 5, it's worth nothing. It also presupposes that the shoes are divisible in the first place. Who says the shoes in that chart are even running shoes? They could have been a keychain. They could have been one solid piece of plastic that cannot be separated into 2 without breaking it. And that's objection number 1. Let's move to objection number 2. That pair of tar-filled newspaper snow cones are worth 4, so each of them individually have to be worth 2? No! 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 Same argument I apply to the shoes with respect to indivisibility. There is nothing in that equation that allows us to conclude that those 2 tar-filled newspaper snow cones are even divisible in the first place. But even assuming they are divisible in the first place, who says that they're worth 2 each? Clearly, the tar-filled newspaper snow cone on the left is bigger than the one on the right, and while some of you might attribute that to perspective, I might not. I might say that the tar-filled newspaper snow cone on the left is in fact bigger than the one on the right, and therefore it should be worth 3, while the one on the right should be worth 1. And then in which case, the tar-filled newspaper snow cone at the end of the equation should be worth 3, not 2. And that is my objection number 2, but let's get to the equation itself for my biggest, baddest, bestest objection number 3. Alright, so you have the one shoe which is allegedly worth 5, but I would say is either worth 0 or 10. And then you got your cross-eyed, angry, poorly dressed kid wearing the pair of shoes holding the 2 tar-filled newspaper snow cones. And according to the real answer, the shoes on the feet of the cross-eyed, angry, poorly dressed kid are worth 10. I might say that they're worth 0 because I'm not buying a pair of shoes that somebody else wore.
Especially not after having been in quarantine for over 2 weeks.
And you don't need to be a rocket scientist or a Nancy Drew detective to recognize that the 2 tar-filled newspaper snow cones in the hands of the cross-eyed, angry, poorly dressed kid are not the ones in the previous equation. They are clearly different. They have a band of black text running across them that doesn't appear in the original ones. What are those worth? I don't know. How about absolutely nothing?
Nothing! Absolutely nothing! Stupid! You're so stupid!
So I submit to you that the answer is in fact not 43, but rather the answer that I submitted, 60, because the shoes, I insist, are worth 10. The cross-eyed, angry, poorly dressed kid is worth 5. Add that together, it's 15. Multiply that by the tar-filled newspaper snow cone, which is worth 4, and you get 60. Except I forgot you're supposed to do the multiplication before the addition, so even if the cross-eyed, angry, poorly dressed kid is worth 5, you have to do the multiplication by 4, which is 20, plus the 10, which is 30. I guess I got the wrong answer regardless, but one thing is for certain, the right answer is not 43. What is the right answer? I don't know. That's what makes me a lawyer. That'll be $10,000.
I accept Bitcoin.
And Connor, if you do happen to see this, I could use a bottle of proper number 12. We don't actually have it in Quebec.